It was supposed to be the happiest day of her sister's life, but for Emma, it felt like walking into a storm she hadn't prepared for. Everyone around her was glowing with joy, laughter bouncing off the chandeliers. But Emma? She sat quietly at a corner table, pretending not to notice the sideways glances and whispered comments. She wasn't supposed to feel this small, not today. But the truth was, she'd been forced to sit alone at her own sister's wedding. She looked at the empty seat beside her and wished it were filled. Not because she needed someone to lean on, but because being alone in a room full of people who once called you family can make even the strongest heart tremble. Before we dive deeper into this story, make sure to subscribe to Kindness Lights, where we share true stories that remind us the world still has good people in it. If you believe in the power of kindness, hit that like button and tell us in the comments where you've seen kindness in your own life. Now, let's continue. The tension had started long before the wedding day. Emma and her sister, Laura, had always been close growing up. But over the years, life pulled them in different directions. Emma was quiet, thoughtful, and a bit of an introvert. Laura was the social butterfly, the one who always had a crowd around her. When Laura got engaged, Emma was thrilled for her. That excitement faded quickly when she realized she wasn't truly welcome in the celebration. Laura's fiancé's family was, well, let's just say, they weren't fans of Emma. They thought she was too plain, too awkward, and too single to fit into their elegant, picture-perfect wedding. At first, Emma brushed it off. But when the seating chart was announced, she saw her name, tucked away at a small table near the back of the ballroom. Alone. Everyone else had been paired with family or friends. Even the distant cousins had someone. But not her. She'd asked Laura about it, quietly, the night before the wedding. Her sister had sighed, "Emma, please don't make this about you. It's just one night." So Emma smiled, swallowed her hurt, and told herself she'd survive a few hours alone. The reception hall was glowing with gold light and laughter. Waiters moved like clockwork, carrying champagne and silver trays of appetizers. Emma sat there, tracing the rim of her water glass. She watched her sister and new brother-in-law dance, the room erupting in applause. And then came the whispers again, from the next table over. "Why is she alone? I heard she's not married. Maybe she's just here out of pity." Each word felt like a pinprick. She wanted to disappear. She looked down at her plate, trying to blink back tears before they could fall. That's when she heard a gentle voice behind her. "Is this seat taken?" She looked up to see a man holding a small plate and a warm smile. He was dressed in a dark suit, and beside him stood a little girl, maybe 6 or 7, in a white dress with a flower crown sliding slightly to one side. Emma shook her head. "No, it's not." "Perfect," he said, setting his plate down. "We seem to have been left without a table. Mind if we join you?" She hesitated. "Are you sure? I think your group is over there." He smiled again, leaning closer and lowering his voice. "Actually, I was hoping we could help each other out. You look like you could use a team right now." That's when he added, softly, "Act like you're with me." Emma blinked, surprised. Then she looked around, and realized what he meant. People were watching. Not just her, but him too. Some of the same people who had whispered about her were now whispering about him, a single dad, at a wedding, alone. She smiled for the first time that evening. "Deal," she said. The little girl climbed onto the chair beside Emma and started chatting instantly. "Do you like cake? Daddy says weddings have the best cake." Emma laughed, genuinely this time. "I love cake." "Good," the girl said with a grin. "Then we're friends." And just like that, the night changed. The man, his name was Daniel, talked to her as if they'd known each other for years. They joked about the fancy food neither of them could pronounce, cheered during the toasts, and even danced when the band played an upbeat tune. For the first time that night, Emma wasn't invisible. When people glanced at their table now, they didn't see a lonely woman in the corner. They saw a small, joyful trio. A single dad, his bubbly daughter, and a woman who had found laughter again. Later, as the night wound down, Daniel leaned toward Emma. "You know," he said, "I almost didn't come tonight. My cousin invited me last minute. But something told me I should." Emma smiled softly. "I'm glad you did." He looked at her for a moment. "Me too." The little girl fell asleep halfway through dessert, her head resting on Daniel's shoulder. He smiled down at her, then back at Emma. "She lost her mom when she was 4, he said quietly. "It's just been us since then. Nights like this, they're hard. But you made it easier." Emma's heart ached. "You made it easier for me too." When the music faded and the lights dimmed, Emma found herself standing with Daniel near the exit. Her sister passed by, arm in arm with her new husband, barely stopping to wave. And for once, that didn't hurt as much as she thought it would. Daniel smiled and said, "You know, kindness is a funny thing.